Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gordo and I have something special. When I was growing up, I could only think of drawing one thing, and that was the crow. The crow was a phenomenon in the 90s. The movie came out in 1993. It was the first and only movie I got to see with my dad. And when Wicked released their model a couple of months ago, I knew I had to do justice by this model. So I'll put a link in the description to Wicked's Patreon. You support them if you like. I support them. And I'll teach you how to paint this model. So without further ado, let's get into this and let's have some fun painting some models. You guys know the drill. I always tell you every time I paint, prime your models. This one I'm priming black because it's the crow. The comic book was originally black and white, and because it's black and white, I wanted to give it a noir type of theme. And if you ever watch the movie is also very dark. So black was the prime color that I've used, and it actually worked out. You'll see in a minute. So I recently found this place by me that sells Warhammer, D&D, Magic the Gathering, and a bunch of hobby paints. When I say hobby paints, I mean miniature hobby paints, from Pro Acrylic to Citadel, and I'm addicted. I've been buying so much from them. So for this specific one, I used those paints to paint it. For the leather, I chose a gray black from Pro Acrylic. For the skin tone, I used an Advanced Flesh, also from Pro Acrylic. And then for the black, I just used my regular golden So Flat paint. I'll be completely transparent with you. I approach these models just like anyone else would, because I'm not an expert. I just got into this hobby last year. So I was stumped about how to draw leather. So I went online, do a quick YouTube search, and said, how would you paint leather on a miniature? I got all these different search results, and I love the internet. I love this hobby, and I take a lot of inspiration from the miniature painting YouTube channels. So for this, all I did was, I already had the black from priming. I painted some highlights with a gray color. For the smaller, for the torso, and also the legs, I used my brushes. But for the cape itself, it was a lot easier to do it with my airbrush, because when I tried to paint with the brush, the lines were not blending in enough, so I used the airbrush for that reason. And then finally, I used a wash from Pro Acryl, a black wash, and that gave it the shine, and it actually blended in the dark black with the highlights, and it came out pretty good. My inspiration for the face was not necessarily the Crow, but Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight, where I wanted the face to have a flesh tone, and then maybe the white was gonna let the flesh tone come through, but ultimately I was not able to achieve that, so I painted right over the skin with the white, and then I gave it the iconic, I guess, makeup that the Crow has. And as you can see, it's very small, and thank God for the Winsor Newton Series 7 brushes, because they kept their tip as I was painting, and you know, the rest is history. For the Crow, I approached it the same way as I did the leather. I base painted with the gray black. I added highlights to almost each one of his feathers with a lighter tone, and then I gave it a wash, and it came out looking great. For the tombstone, I decided to give it a base color of gray with my airbrush, and then apply a black wash, because I wanted the black wash to kind of give it a shine, to shine through, and then I would use some dry brushing of a gray tone, because I wanted the stone to kind of have a grain to it. And I did watch a lot of videos on dry brushing minis, and I actually liked what they did. I actually have a video coming up about slab chop, some painting on some minis, and I learned a lot of that by doing it here. I then went ahead and painted the thorns gray, and painted also the base itself gray. Originally it was supposed to be green, but the green was a little bit too light for my taste, and because I wanted this all to be dark, I went ahead and painted it gray. The bottom of the base itself, I actually gave it a black, and then the roses obviously were a little red, but I think because of the black prime under, the roses didn't come out as red as I probably wanted them to be. They came out a little bit of a dark orange, but I think it worked out. I think if they would have been too red, they probably would have taken away from everything else around it. And then for the thorns and the piece of bark behind the tombstone, I went ahead and gave it a dry brush with a lighter tone of brown because I wanted the grain itself to pop. So I painted his guitar red and metallic on the strings, red accent, and kind of a metallic accent on the bottom. Unfortunately, I was not able to capture that on film. Well, actually I did, but my camera angle was not correct. I'm working with a new boom arm for my camera so I could capture more detailed painting, which is what I did with the tombstone, but unfortunately I had not had it dialed in when I was painting the guitar, and that was not captured on film, and I apologize. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. If you liked it, please give it a like. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel. Please take care of yourselves and your loved ones.